bumpy ride. My adrenaline is already... Excuse me. I just ran a red light. Boston is a place that seems almost impossible to navigate. Two separate Hanovers meet in Boston. You not only have to deal with cars and roads that make no sense, but people are darting in and out in front of your car. If Paul Revere had to ride and do his ride today with all the traffic that there is, he never would have made it. The war could have turned out differently. I'm officially lost. So I'm going to seek professional help. Someone who knows these streets like the back of their hand. A cab driver. I'm in the back of Larry Meister's cab. He's been driving a cab for 30 years, and he knows why Boston's roads are so darn difficult to drive on. Why do you think the streets are downright mystifying in so many ways, you know?
Well, if you go back to folklore, everybody had cows then for milk. But you lived in a little house like this, your cow was in your backyard. So you let your cows out, and they went out to the common grazing ground, which is the Boston Common, to graze for the day, then they'd come back, and they laid out the roads.
So basically, they think the city planners here in Boston were livestock. Now there you go, right there. That's a typical, yeah, now what do you call that move right there, where it's like, I'm going.
He's just gone, just let him go.
Have you ever wanted to get out of your car, though, and just take a baseball bat to someone else's car?
Oh, yeah, and I've done it. And, you know, it doesn't, it doesn't pay off.
Larry the cab driver has some very important piece of wisdom for anyone who's in Boston driving a car, and that is just chill out. What do you think of Boston's traffic?
Boston drivers, I think, are the worst in the world.
Is it the drivers or the roads that contributes
It's
to...
a mix of both.
I think it's pretty congested.
See, just when you started to say that, a parade started up, the cops started coming, and then this van is getting flagged to go backwards.
I don't really follow too many road signs, so I kind of just do what I want.
We don't care about anything.
Officer, did you hear that? He just makes up his own traffic rules.
That's right.
He does whatever he wants.
These streets are designed not for traffic. These are old cow pasture streets.
I hear a lot about cows, but I still don't believe they created this traffic nightmare.
So many people believe that these streets were carved by cattle and horses. Is that true?
I don't think so. I mean, I heard that story when I was a little kid, too. But the earliest path in the city is now called Hanover Street, which you might have seen in the North End.
Yeah, we did.
That was a Native American trail that the Native Americans used to get down to the water to gather shellfish, etc. And initially, a lot of the neighborhoods just sprang off of that path like, branches from a tree.
So, very, very simple answer then to the question, why is driving so bad in Boston? It's because it wasn't built for cars.
Right.
It was built for walking.
It was built before the car.
How would you advise someone coming into Boston if they're going to drive today?
Park it and take the T. That's what it was.
So it was the Indians harvesting shellfish that carved Boston's first pathways. Then why the old wives' tale about cows? Well, it turns out that during the Revolutionary War, the Boston area built a booming cattle trade to feed the rebel troops. They say the first porterhouse steak was served at the Porterhouse Hotel in Cambridge. So the cattle industry built Boston's economy, but it was human feet, not hooves, that drew the city map. And that's how cows and clams helped shape Boston, its crazy driving, and led to the nasty reputation of Massachusetts drivers.
The interstate highway system was built mostly in the 1960s and 70s and was yet another revolution in transportation. Now, to get from the Mississippi to the Pacific took Lewis and Clark 13 months. For me to make the same journey using the interstate would take about 35 hours.
Today, everything in the U.S. seems closer together, all because of transportation. Every generation or two, an invention has changed how we reckon with distance. In the early 1800s, it could take a year or more to travel across the country. By 1830, canals and railroads brought much of the East Coast within a couple days' journey of New York City. 3 decades later, you could travel to Chicago in 2 days, but you still needed at least 3 weeks and a stagecoach